Hello everyone, and welcome to End-to-End Tech Talk. I'm your host, Michael Oliverio, and today we're going to be covering Copilot from Microsoft Word. Now, before you can start using Copilot, you have to make sure you have a license added to your account. I covered licensing and pricing in the previous video, and just as a reminder, once that license is added, it's going to take several hours, maybe even up to 24 hours before you start actually seeing Copilot in your applications and are able to use it to do what you want it to do. All right, let's start by jumping right into it. We're going to go to an open Word and create a blank document. Now, the first thing you're going to see when you get Copilot activated is Word is going to open up with this little bit of information along with a clickable button right here. Clicking that button is going to open up a menu. You can start to just type, describe what you like, including notes or an outline, and Copilot can generate a draft to help you get started. You can also press Alt-I. It'll open up the same thing with the same message. And you'll also see in the top right here, you have a Copilot button. And this Copilot button, you can start asking questions, which show up down here, but ask a question is where you can start. And again, same bit of information. All right, let's do something simple here and ask Copilot to create a document for us. I'm gonna go ahead and click on the little icon right over here and say something simple. So I wanna send a welcome email to our YouTube channel in 500 words or less. Go ahead and click generate and see what it does. Okay, once it's done, you have this little menu here that you can go ahead and drag around. You can read over and decide to keep it. You can say, you know what, let's regenerate it, trash it, or do something like make it formal. By doing this, it's actually going to rewrite it to be a little bit more formal based on that request right there. Once you're happy with the results, after doing a couple changes potentially, go ahead and click on Keep It, and you'll see it removes the background color and makes it part of the document now. All right, let's clear it out and get back to a blank page here. One thing I want to show is referencing a file. So we're going to go ahead and click on this button again. I'm going to click on the reference a file. Now this is going to show you 3 of the recent files you've opened. If you start typing a file name in here, it'll automatically pull it up. I don't want to do that. I actually want to just generate this one here. This is a document that we're going to use throughout the video that I generated yesterday. So I want to reference that file and ask what are some high protein foods. Now what this is going to do is pull information out of that document and create me a new document here. All right, and then once it's done, we're just going to go ahead and say keep it. And you're going to see you have a new document created based on a document that you already had. It's just going to provide the information a little bit differently. All right, let's see what we can do with an existing doc. This is one I had Copilot write for me earlier today. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this Copilot button in the top right corner, and it's gonna bring up some menus here. So first thing you can do is summarize the document. And what that's gonna do is basically scan it, pull out some key points. I can ask questions about it. Clicking this will open up a prompt. But let's focus on the bottom here. So this is where you can kind of talk about it, write your questions, make comments, have it shorten it, or you can view some prompts. If you click on View Prompts, it's going to bring up some options for you to just go through that they've already pre-built in. So if we want to understand, okay, tell me more about a specific point. If you have a 30-page document here, you can say, tell me more about this specific portion of it. Summarize it in 3 key points. List the pros and cons of X, Y, and Z, depending on what you have. You can say, what are the most important deadlines and milestones mentioned? And who are the key stakeholders? So these are built-in prompts Microsoft has made that you can just click on, click here, it'll populate. So let's just do this one here. Summarize the doc in 3 key terms. And here you go. After it takes a minute to think, which just so you guys know, I'm fast forwarding through the thinking. It can take 30 to 60 seconds to actually process some of the things that it's doing. But it's going to scan it and give you what it believes is the 3 key terms that are mentioned in this doc and give you a short little snippet about them. It's also going to add these little 1s and 2s here, which will kind of show you where it's pulling that information from. You have your references. You can click the references, and it'll go ahead and show you here's also the references and where they're getting that information from in the document itself. After you do that, you can say, make the summary longer or make a summary shorter. You can refresh and it'll rescan it. Let's go back to prompts again. I actually want to ask it how how do I add a table of contents, for example? Go ahead and click the little send button, and it'll start its generation again. Okay, and then once it's done here, you can go ahead and see it gives you the steps needed you to take to create a table of contents. So moving on, I want to do a little something with modifying this document a little bit. So I've got my document, I have a little bit of information, I've got some bullet points. Something that you can actually do is highlight information. So I want to highlight this. That'll open up the Copilot button. Let's click on the Copilot and say, I want to resize this as a table, make it look a little bit nicer. And you're going to see it's going to change it. It's going to create two different categories and then categorize those based on the table. I'm going to say, you know what, I want to keep that. It's going to keep your original information. If you want to get rid of it, just highlight it, delete it, and now you have your new table created here. I typed a few things up at the bottom down here to show you another way of doing it. So if you have information this way, same thing. Click, resize this table, and it'll recreate this the same way as it did the one above. And you can see it created category, subcategory, with the top it created food and protein because those are the two sections already set up. Let's go ahead and keep that one as well, just so you guys can keep seeing it. Lastly, I want to come back over to Copilot over here, and I want to ask it a simple question. Are there any callouts? Let's see if we can find any callouts in this document here. Okay, no callouts. Maybe there's a call to action though. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. As you talk to Copilot, you may not get the results you want right away, so you have to think of different ways of saying it. So there were no callouts, but there is actually a call to action. The call to action is at the bottom here. You can see subscribe to the YouTube channel with a link. If you got a big document, you want to find if there's anything like this, you can ask that simple question, and it'll go ahead and populate all the content that actually has callouts, or actually called call to actions, within this guide itself. One other thing I kind of want to cover here is coming back over to the right side of the document where we have Copilot open. If you click this prompt and you click the button View More Prompts, it's actually going to open up this screen here. You can save some of these prompts, but these are some ideas that they've kind of built in. So you can do something as simple as, improve this document, list pros and cons. I'll just say, improve this document, and all it's going to do is say, give me specific examples for this document and how I can improve it for, and then you type out for leadership, and hit the little go button or the send button, and it's going to go ahead and take this, it's going to scan it, it's going to do its whole generation process, and then once it's done, it's going to give you some information. And there it is. And if you don't like it, you can kind of ask it again. So, as I kind of mentioned in the previous video, talk to Copilot, try saying things differently. It may not work how you want it to the first time, but the second time it might work out really well. All right, and that completes our tutorial today. In our next video, we're going to be going over Microsoft PowerPoint and kind of do the same thing we did with Word today. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this and follow us for updates. Thank you and be safe.